The question, is the Bible really the Word of God, is something that is asked a lot in our society. What we are really asking is, how do we know that the Bible is not just a good book? How do we know that it is really God speaking to us? Let's look at why I am convinced the Bible is in fact the Word of God. Let's take a look at the Old Testament. You will see that it is full of all kinds of prophecies. Starting in the very beginning, when God made Adam and Eve, he walked and talked with them in the garden. Sadly, because Adam and Eve sinned against God, this does not exist after man left the garden. However, God did continue to talk to them, but in different ways. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verses 18 and 19, Moses writes, "I will raise up a prophet like you from among their fellow Israelites. I will put my words in his mouth, and he will tell me everything I command him. I will personally deal with anyone who will not listen to the messages the prophet proclaims on my behalf." There is no way Moses could have known this would happen unless God told him this. If we take a look at the book of Psalm, chapter 41 and verse 9, David spoke of how Judas would betray Jesus later on in life. The whole book of Isaiah is about dreams and prophecies. For example, Isaiah spoke of how Jesus would be buried, that even though he hung with thieves, he would be buried with rich. Then, again, if we look in Zechariah, Zechariah speaks of the Lord riding in on a donkey, and it also gives a description of the 30 silver coins that would be thrown in trade of Jesus. There is no way the people who wrote these passages would know that what would happen hundreds or thousands of years after their time, unless it was spoken to them by God. God did not just make himself known by prophets writing it down. He also made himself known in visions and dreams. For example, if we take a look at the book of Numbers, chapter 12, verses 6 through 8, the Lord made himself known in visions and speaks openly to Moses. He also spoke to Joseph in this way. The Bible was not just written by prophets, though. It was written by the very people that walked with Jesus. They did not just write about what Jesus said directly to them or the people around them. They wrote about what they witnessed and what they heard. Now, how does the New Testament convince me that the Bible is in fact the Word of God? I think there are 3 facts that prove this. Number 1, in the New Testament, we see what was written in the Old Testament come true. Number 2, God comes in the form of Jesus to earth. And number 3, those that were with Jesus were first-hand reporters of what was going on. Lastly, at the end of the Bible in Revelation, it leaves us with prophecies for what is to come. Let me close with Revelation chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. This is a revelation from Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants the events that must soon take place. He sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John, who faithfully reported everything he saw. This is the report of the Word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ. God blesses the one who reads the words of his prophecy to the church, and he blesses all who listen to its message and obey what it says. For the time is near. The Bible is revealed through prophecies, dreams, visions, and words. It is our job to listen and obey. Overall, as a whole, I think we can see that there is no other way that the people who wrote the Bible would have known these things if it weren't for God telling them, which is how we know that the Bible is in fact the Word of God.